Picture this. Thousands of travelers stranded at one of Europe's busiest airports, their plans in disarray, all because of a swarm of unidentified drones hovering dangerously close. That's the unsettling reality that unfolded at Munich Airport last night, forcing a temporary shutdown and sparking widespread concern. But here's where it gets controversial. Could these incidents be more than just harmless mischief, hinting at deeper geopolitical tensions? Let's dive into the details and unpack what happened step by step, so even newcomers to aviation news can follow along easily. Munich Airport, located in the southern German state of Bavaria, had to halt operations briefly after reports of multiple drone sightings flooded in. This isn't an isolated event. It's the most recent in a troubling pattern of unexplained aerial intrusions affecting major European airports. On Thursday evening, just after 10 p.m. local time, authorities grounded a total of 17 departing flights, impacting almost 3,000 passengers who were left waiting anxiously for updates. To make matters worse, 15 incoming flights were rerouted to alternative destinations, including cities like Stuttgart, Nuremberg, and Frankfurt in Germany, as well as Vienna in neighboring Austria. This diversion process, while necessary for safety, can be a logistical nightmare. Imagine pilots having to quickly recalculate routes and passengers dealing with unexpected layovers, all while wondering when they'll finally reach their destinations. A spokesperson handling inquiries from Munich Airport reassured callers overnight, telling CNN that some flights were still queued for takeoff, while others had been scrapped entirely. Everything is under control, they said, and the airport is scheduled to resume normal operations at 5 a.m. This kind of response is standard in crisis management, aiming to calm nerves, but it underscores the disruption caused by such incidents. For context, Munich Airport serves as a key hub for Germany's national airline, Lufthansa, and handled nearly 20 million passengers in the first 6 months of this year alone. It's a vital gateway for travel, business, both, and tourism, so any closure ripples out to affect economies and personal plans far beyond the runway. And this is the part most people miss. These drone sightings aren't confined to Munich. Just last week, a series of similar reports plagued several airports in Denmark, leading to chaos for tens of thousands of travelers. In response, Danish officials imposed a blanket ban on all civilian drone flights across their airspace, especially as the country geared up to host a high-stakes summit of European leaders in Copenhagen. The agenda? Discussing aid for Ukraine amid its ongoing conflict with Russia, and strengthening Europe's overall security measures. It's a reminder of how aviation safety can intersect with international politics, turning what might seem like a simple tech issue into a broader conversation about threats in the skies. Europe as a whole has been on heightened alert lately, with a cluster of drone sightings raising alarms. Adding to the tension are reports of Russian drones allegedly crossing into NATO-controlled airspace over Poland and Romania, plus claims that Russian fighter jets violated Estonian airspace. Incidents that have prompted swift diplomatic responses and investigations. For beginners wondering why this matters, think of airspace as an invisible border. Breaching it can signal aggression or espionage, potentially escalating into larger conflicts. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen didn't mince words, stating that while the culprits behind Denmark's drone episodes remain unidentified, we can at least conclude that there is primarily one country that poses a threat to Europe's security, and that is Russia. It's a bold accusation, pointing fingers at Moscow as the likely source of these disruptions. Of course, the Kremlin has firmly denied any involvement in the drone sightings or the Estonian airspace incident, calling such claims baseless. This back and forth creates a murky picture. Is this genuine espionage? A case of mistaken identity? Or perhaps even deliberate misinformation to sow fear? And here's where opinions diverge sharply. Some experts argue these could be state-sponsored probes to test defenses, while others suggest rogue operators or even accidental hobbyist flights gone wrong. The truth is, without concrete evidence, it's hard to say for sure. But the implications for European unity and security are undeniable. to add another layer of unease. Munich itself was already jittery following a bomb threat that shut down its iconic Oktoberfest beer festival for several hours earlier this week. This historic event, drawing over 1 million visitors annually to celebrate Bavarian culture with beer, food, and rides, had to pause abruptly, highlighting how vulnerabilities in public spaces can amplify broader anxieties. It's a stark example of how one threat can bleed into another, leaving communities on edge. As this story continues to evolve, we'll keep you updated with the latest developments. But let's turn to you. Do you believe Russia is orchestrating these drone incidents as a form of hybrid warfare? Or could there be other explanations at play? Is the ban on drones in Denmark a smart precaution or an overreaction? Share your views in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take and spark a thoughtful discussion.